Nightcast. Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth brings you the current news from the world today and how it relates to Bible prophecy. Understanding the end-time events leading to the peaceful world tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to this November 10th, 2013 edition of Nightcast. Typhoon Haiyan, the world's strongest storm of the year, has made landfall as of Friday in the Philippines with winds of up to 235 kilometers per hour or 146 miles per hour. Reports say up to 1 million people have been forced to leave their homes. The number dead has been estimated at 1,200 at one point. No one knows the full number of those dead just yet. But as of Friday, and we have reports for you from today as well, but this report taken during the storm on Friday with BBC's John Donaldson reporting from Manila.
The islands of Leyte and Samar hit round about dawn this morning. Those massive winds, really, close to 200 miles an hour, and some of the images on Filipino TV showing coastal villages just basically almost underwater. A lot of sort of storm surges coming in, big waves, and one can only hope that people were able to evacuate. There are figures that are difficult to get hold of, but some people saying as many as 1 million people have been forced to leave their homes. I was just speaking to the Red Cross down in one of the central areas, actually an island called Bohol, which had an earthquake a month ago. So you already had tens of thousands of people living in temporary shelter, and the typhoon forces to hit there today. And I think basically it could be several days before we know the full extent of the damage, but it looks like it could be massive.
And friends, in this next report from Saturday, a lot of people were left to hide in their closets.
I have been able to find out that my mother is okay from a friend who had a chance to call me from Ormoc, but we got cut off, and since then I've not been able to contact her, but I know she's okay. Our problem is how to get to Ormoc. There's just one boat going to Ormoc, to and fro Ormoc, and nothing is definite because we cannot even dock to Ormoc because the port is damaged. So there is absolutely no news outlet there in Ormoc, only in Tacloban. So there's absolutely no news from there, although we know that they're okay.
And do you have any information as to what they had to actually go through, and indeed what did you go through?
Yes, it was terrifying for me not to know anything. And some of my friends, they just sent text messages, their messages during the storm. They sent out text messages to their friends in Cebu, and they're finding out that most of them just hid in their closets because the rooftops have been blown off. And there's nothing else, there's nowhere else they can go but into their closets. They're old houses, big old houses in Ormoc. It's 2 hours away from Tacloban by driving, and 2 hours away by boat from Cebu. We do not know there. We just have no other word except they're okay. But they need food, just like in Tacloban.
But you're aware of your mother's own house having been damaged as well?
Yes. All the windows and the doors have been damaged. She stayed in her room the whole time, in the bathroom. But she had food. She has food and water, unlike the others who are less fortunate. But she hid in the bathroom.
And friends, some more video from Friday during the storm. And Mel Zamora from the charity World Vision, who's in Cebu in the central Philippines, told the BBC that colleagues had described seeing galvanized iron sheets flying just like kites.
I'm actually in an office right now. I'm actually quite anxious because the wind here is whistling. It's so strong, and the heavy downpour is continuous. We've been experiencing downpour since last night, but I guess Landa is actually the IUP Landa is approaching Cebu right now.
So, are you expecting it to get worse?
Yes, because we've been hearing from news and even from my colleagues in Tacloban, who is in Tacloban right now, and they're actually like they're seeing like galvanized iron sheets flying just like kites, and it's actually like all around the roads now because the roads are actually flooded in Tacloban. So like now like the trees are actually dancing and the wind is like I don't know how to describe it, and I wish I can describe it to you, but like it's this whistling wind and this strong wind is like quite anxious. I mean, makes us feel anxious. Can you hear that whistling wind right now?
Well, we certainly get an idea of it from the pictures. We are showing pictures, Mai, while you're talking to us, and it looks pretty severe. How many people from the area that you are in have been evacuated?
I'm not sure of the evacuations yet because I've never seen it because we are not allowed to roam around the city. The staff are not allowed to roam around the city to check or to assess because it's quite risky. The wind is so strong and the rain is so heavy, and actually we are actually like it's still in distress right now. We are actually the survivors and at the same time evacuees of and at the same time responder of the earthquake that happened last month. So like our apartments were not safe. So that's why World Vision team or World Vision staff here actually like housed us in our office. And this is actually our temporary office because our main office in Cebu was actually devastated. There are a lot of cracks and staff are not advised to go there.
Now, friends, again, that video was from Friday showing events that happened during that Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, where thousands of people have been killed. Now, after killing thousands in the Philippines, the typhoon has made landfall in northern Vietnam, close to the China border, as a weaker Category 1 storm. It still carries sustained winds of up to 140 miles per hour. 140 kilometers per hour. That would be 85 miles per hour as it arrived close to the Ha Long Bay tourist destination. Some 600,000 people have been evacuated from at-risk regions in Vietnam. Nick Childs has this report from Vietnam.
The seas are already stirring along the Vietnamese coastline. The storm which caused such devastation in the Philippines is expected to make another landfall somewhere here in the coming hours. This somewhat bedraggled group may look relatively relaxed, and Typhoon Haiyan's winds have been weakening. But a deserted Da Nang city airport provides stark evidence that after the Philippines experience, the authorities here are taking no chances. Hundreds of flights have been cancelled. One fear is that the storm will still bring torrential rain, and with it the risk of floods and landslides. So, hundreds of thousands of people have been evacuated from coastal areas, anxiously taking what belongings they can. Many evacuees are being sheltered in increasingly crowded hospitals and other government buildings. To complicate matters, as it left the Philippines, the storm was expected to hit central Vietnam. Now it's changed course northwards, extending the evacuation area. As the last fishing boats headed for shelter, and residents took what might seem like some desperate last steps to protect their properties before leaving for safer locations, it's become a case now for Vietnam of waiting for the storm to hit. Nick Childs, BBC News.
And friends, I don't have video on it, but I have this, this recent update from the Red Cross in the Philippines. And Richard Gordon of the Philippines Red Cross told the BBC News that the organization's effort, the Philippine Red Cross efforts, were focusing on helping survivors, but that it was providing body bags for the many, many dead bodies. The charity estimated that as many as 1,200 people could have been killed in the storm. 1,000 in the coastal city of Tacloban alone. And as he gave the report, he said that there was a sickening smell of death in the air. It's no doubt one of the worst storms on record. Well, wait a minute. I've got some information here that says one of the worst storms on record has killed up to 10,000 people and destroyed homes, schools, and an airport in the Philippines. Wait a minute. Could that possibly be right? Up to 10,000 people? Eyewitnesses Captain John Andrews from the Philippine Civil Aviation Authority flew into the worst hit areas to assess the damage. He said the airport was completely wrecked. This thing is horrible. Officials are struggling to bring aid to areas of the Philippines worst affected by Typhoon Haiyan. Here's another report saying with up to 10,000 people feared dead in Tacloban. There is no clean water, no electricity, and very little food in the city. One of the reporters for the BBC, Rupert Wingfield-Hayes, reporting from Tacloban, where an estimated 80% of the buildings have been destroyed, provided some of that information that I just gave to you. Friends, that's it for this Sunday night. You know, that's certainly a story out of the Philippines that relates to the pale horse whose rider is named Death, alongside whom rides Hades, hell, the grave. And if those figures, if they're fearing up to 10,000 people have died in that, then this certainly is an attribute for the pale horse, a prelude to the coming fifth seal of Revelation, the Great Tribulation, time of World War III, time of martyrdom, time of the worst trouble upon man that's ever hit the face of the earth. And it's certainly sobering news out of the Philippines. I think I'll sign off for there. Tomorrow night I may play a song that a good friend of mine, I actually have the music and the song here now. You know, friends, I tell you, we've got a record of the tremendous damage happening in the Philippines. And I think I'd like to end on something light. However, I think we ought to let this sink in. I'll try to play the video of the song my friend Barry sent me tomorrow night. It's #1 song in England right now. I'll tell you about it tomorrow night. God willing, and the creek don't rise, as I often say, and we don't have any typhoons come this way. We'll be back again on Monday night. That's it for this Sunday night edition. Thank you for joining me, dear friends. Until next time on Nightcast with news related to the Bible and prophecy, this is your host, Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth, saying, so long, friends.
You have been watching Nightcast with Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth. Nightcast can be seen Sunday through Thursday nights here on COGTV.org. Tonight's program is also available anytime on demand in the COGTV.org video archive.